Hey everybody, Anthony Alfredo here. Today we're going to make a very interesting video. We're going to try to start dead last in a field of 20 cars on iRacing and run the wall in turns 3 and 4 just like Ross Chastain did. See how many cars we could actually pass. I'm going to give myself an end of line penalty here so we could start at the back. We'll start 20th. I want to see how many cars we can pass. We'll actually move down the line. Here we go. We'll actually try this a couple times if it doesn't go well the first time. But I would expect this to be fairly reasonable as far as the realism, because this is a field of 75% to 95% on AI. That's pretty stout. That's what I like to practice on, actually. I think it's very realistic and competitive. The field's going to be a lot tighter here than at the end of that race. He passed 5 cars with that move. He only needed to pass 2 to make the Final Four championship race at Phoenix, have a shot at the NASCAR Cup Series championship. He made it happen with that move. He had nothing to lose. If it didn't work, it didn't work. But it did. So I guess my question now is everyone going to do that at the end of every race now? I know for certain it's definitely a consideration I'm going to have if we're willing to tear up a race car and have to fix the right side. But we're going to get going here, go one lap, go into turns 3 and 4, and see how much ground we can make up. Damage is turned on. I'm intrigued because on a restart the field's tighter. Obviously the field was spread out and he was able to pass 5 cars. If it was a green-white checkered, what the heck? The field's already rolling. Okay, so that's not good. It's going to get pretty spread out. Okay, so I have to try this again because I already found a bug. It looks like when the pace car hits pit road, the leader immediately fires, even though he's only entering turn 3, so he's nowhere near the restart zone. So you're going to have to bear with me on that. The field's going to be more spread out than I'd like it to. However, I will acknowledge that at the end of that race, it was pretty spread out. Ross passed 5 cars. If it was a green-white checkered finish, like in the Xfinity Series race, obviously with the 54 taking out the 19 into 1, the caution came out so no one would have had a chance to try it in 3 and 4. But I was just curious about if you made that move on a green-white checker and the field is stacked up like this. Say it's bumper to bumper going into turn 3. If you go and run the wall, can you pass 20 cars? Because he passed 5 when it was relatively spread out. So we're going to try to find that out. It's not going to be super tight just because of the fact that the leader goes so early, so that's unfortunate. But I do want to experiment a little bit and see what comes of it.
1 to go, next time by.
I will say, this day and age with how racing is and how little respect there seems to be for one another, especially at the end of the race while going for the win, instead of being the leader and worrying about getting punted or being second and having to pull off the bump and run, you can just run the wall and end up winning by 2.5 seconds, I guess. Heck, you might be able to win from 5th or 6th place since Ross passed 5 cars. Who knows? Like I said, that's what this experiment is all about, is stacking the field up and see how many cars we could truly pass. Because if there's an opportunity to pass 15 cars, I want to know if next time we go to Martinsville, if I'm running 12th on the last lap, I could still win from there, which would be crazy to think about. But hopefully we can clear this guy and exit here. We will. Okay, here we go. iRacing, we can't pull 5th gear, so we're just going to run 4th. We're
Inside, right side, 2 wide, clear inside, 25, 22,
oh, I broke the right front. Okay. So okay. All right, so first attempt. Solid attempt. Let's review the footage. So let's check this out. Worked pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cars in one corner. That's pretty solid. We got up to 13th. All right, let's give it another go. This time I'm going to try to start 10th and see if we can pass 10 cars doing it. All right, we're going to try to go from 10th here and see if we could win if this was a green-white checker. It's all experimental. Go! Why aren't you going?
Green flag. They're showing us the black flag. You passed under yellow. We need to come in and serve a 30-second penalty. Inside.
Oh my gosh. All right, I should have upped the AI. Never mind. I think I had it wrong. It doesn't matter. This is good. This is a good experiment right here.
Clear.
I don't want to run into the back of them. I still did. Okay, we didn't win. We're in the top 5. Let's try one more time. Oh my gosh! No, I broke the right front. Ah! So, okay, so you can't get away with it that much, it looks like.
Out of alignment.
Ow. Get a good look at this one. So we were 10th. This guy is super slow in front of us. He also probably braked at the right point, whereas I ran wide open. So we went from 10th to 6th. Now we're going to rip it again, and we would have been 2nd if we didn't break the right front suspension. So that's unfortunate. Doesn't look like it allowed you to do it back-to-back corners like that. All right, this time I'm just going to start on the pole, but I'm going to rip the fence in 1 and 2 and then see if we break the right front suspension in 3 and 4, because I'm not too sure that turns 1 and 2 is just harder on the right front than 3 and 4, or if I'm doing the damage in 3 and 4 that's making it finally break and just doing it in 1 and 2. So maybe if we start over there, we'll see what happens. So now I'm just curious about how long the suspension will hold up. However, I can't say. I want to know what would happen if you do it in both ends, if the car will allow you to. I know Ross broke the toe lengths and some other suspension components. So I don't know if you can get away with doing it in both ends in real life either. So iRacing probably has that side pretty realistic. I do want to acknowledge that he did get the track record and ran a lap 2.5 seconds faster than I think Christopher Bell did on the last lap, who ended up winning the race. So if he ran an 18.845 or whatever it was, if he did it in both ends of the track, would he have shaved off like 5 seconds? So we're about to find that out. Next time we go to Martinsville, I think I'm going to get the pole, because I'm just going to run the wall on both ends. The only problem is I'm going to probably have to go to a backup for the race.
Green, green, green.
Okay, let's see what happens here. No, you see that it broke the right front. I don't know what's happening. It does it right there. That's what it is. So right here, you can see where the wall kinks. It's a really harsh angle. So when we do it in turns 3 and 4, you can see it's not as harsh of an angle right here. It's not like an angle in the wall. It's kind of rounded. I still think it's doing damage, but I wonder how accurate the speed is. Ross is going 130 into the corner. I was doing exactly 130. So the speed's accurate. The lap time's accurate. That's pretty neat. Well, I guess that answers my question nonetheless. That was pretty interesting to experiment with on iRacing. Obviously, Ross pulled the video game move. We've all known you could wall ride on iRacing and make time, and a lot of us real-life drivers have wondered if it was possible. I know sim racers have wondered what would happen if it was done in real life, and Ross finally did it. Like I said, he really had nothing to lose because he was 2 spots out, so if it didn't work, no big deal. He tried all he could, literally, and it did work out. He actually passed 5 stinking cars. It was the freaking coolest thing I've ever seen. So I want to know your thoughts on the move. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think it was cool once, but it shouldn't happen again, and there should be a rule against it? I know for me personally, I think it was awesome, but I don't want to see that happen at the end of every race, because whoever's willing to tear their car up or do damage, will do that at the end of the race. The last thing I want to see is 10 cars on the last lap at Martinsville run right against the wall, just tearing the right side off their car. So there's a good chance that could happen, because like I said earlier, with the time he made up, with how spread out the field was at that point in the run, if it was a green, white, checkered finish like the Xfinity race, there's a good chance whoever was in 10th place could literally win the race from 10th by doing that, if no one in front of him does. And forget the bump and run. You don't even have to drive in there and worry about shipping the guy, or if you're the leader, worry about getting shipped. Just run the wall so that they can't even get to you, and just hope you don't break anything in the process so that you can make it all the way to the start-finish line. But so many questions that I guess were answered about the move, but now I have new questions about them. What would happen in certain situations? I know he has the track record. Is that going to count? I mean, I guess so, right? He did turn the lap. There wasn't really anything against the rules he did, but man, you could lay down a blistering lap in qualifying if you want to rip the fence in both ends, as long as the suspension will hold up and the car doesn't get too much damage. The problem is, if you do that, you're going to have to start in the back anyways, because you're going to have to go to a backup car. So I guess that answers that, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was just kind of fun and a little bit gimmicky, but I know some people had some questions about it and were curious, and while it's still a hot topic, I figured I'd hop on the trend and experiment a little bit here on my SimSeats driving simulator. Got my new Sparko seat set up. This thing is beautiful. You'll see a video about that shortly, and of course the old one in the background. So thank you, Sparko, for the new seat. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate the support as always. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what kind of content you want to see in the future, and other than that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye.